This is good stuff today, man. These are 5 unhealthy coping mechanisms, which means people do this stuff to deal with stress, anxiety, depression, anger, and this stuff don't work. And the word of the day is coping mechanisms is the word of the day because that's going to be part of what we're talking about. Coping mechanisms are strategies people often use in the face of stress or trauma to help manage painful or difficult emotions. Anybody here got coping mechanisms? My thing is when negative thoughts come into my head or stuff from the past pop into my head, one of the things I do is change that thought and start focusing on something positive. Either I think about something positive that is going on right now, I think about something positive I want to happen in the future, or I'll think about the positive past, some things that happened in my past that were more positive. That way I'm not sitting here thinking about negative things and then thinking on negative things, which they call ruminating. You begin to kill your mood. One thing for me, man, like it's some times where I feel so drained or down. It could be something I saw on TV. It could be an idea I have that I need to figure out. I got to figure this thing out. What does God mean by this thing? Because the way I'm looking at it, I don't see why human beings got to go through it. Sometimes I struggle with ideas. There has never, ever been a time, bro, that I felt lost in life and I couldn't go get my Bible and pray over my Bible and open it up and get a message specifically for me or whatever my situation is. And I pray over my Bible. I don't just open it up. I mean, I got to meditate and pray and get into, this rhythm, with God, so to speak. So I know it's coming from God. And then once I feel that ease or that peace come over me, then I can open it up to wherever I want it to open. And then when I open it, my eyes go directly to a message and it feels like God just spoke to my issue and it could bring me to tears, bro. That's my number one go-to. When I don't have an answer, I find it in my Bible. Saying of the day is failure is the opportunity to start over again more intelligently. Failure. Never ever look down on failure, bro. Don't look down on mistakes. Don't look down on adversity. Don't look down on hard times, man, because those are the things that are going to shape you into the person you need to be. I'm going to tell you what a beautiful person is, whether you know it or not. A beautiful person is a person who was brought up in a toxic environment, a toxic situation. I'm talking about they've experienced more adversity in life. They've experienced more closed doors. They've experienced more people taking advantage of them, putting them down, talking down to them. Ain't never had no money. Ain't never had nobody in their family who had some money. But they still get up every day with a clean spirit, a good heart, and a positive mind. The people who, of all people, should probably be the less trusting of people, turn out to be some of the most positive and happy people in the world. Oftentimes, people who have not had to deal with adversity, people who had a silver spoon in their mouth, people who was always given everything they ever wanted, everything they ever needed, it's hard for them to relate to people who experience adversity. And you don't know when you're going to leave this earth. What have you given to God? We all have different ways of dealing with stressful circumstances. Maybe you like to go to the gym and work out, or maybe you like to turn the music up in your car when you're stressed out. Either way, these two types of coping mechanisms are good and healthy since they aren't harmful to other people. But there are some unhealthy coping mechanisms that you might have due to stress that can be harmful to you and other people. So that's what we're talking about. Coping mechanisms that are harmful to you and other people. And we're going through 5 of those. Number 1 is forced positivity. Toxic positivity. Forced positivity. Just because people are smiling, just because people act happy, doesn't mean that they're happy. See, we've gotten into the habit of, well, if I look like I'm happy or if I act like I'm happy, people are going to believe that I'm happy. But we all are human beings, and we know you don't feel good every day all the time. And that's all right. Forced positivity. We've all heard the term good vibes only. This statement and its accompanying sentiments have become part of our social culture. There's nothing wrong with having a positive mindset. Positivity can be a powerful tool when you want to create that in your life. However, the notion of only positive vibes have been taken to the extreme. Toxic positivity does not come from a place of genuine happiness. It comes from a place of denial, invalidation, or minimization. Forced positivity is an attempt to display a positive disposition at all times, even when you're not in the best of moods, and that can be fatal. It's usually so excessive that the toxic positivity phrases are obvious. Here are some examples of toxic phrases. Don't think about it, be positive. That almost can be looked at as having faith. Huh? Yeah. It's going to all work out in the end if you believe in God and you believe in Jesus and you believe in the Bible, which, yeah, I do that. But at the same time, I got to process my feelings and my emotions. That's a part of it.
That's reality.
Yeah, that's reality. Don't think about it. Be positive. Everything will work out in the end. If I do it, so can you. Or it could be worse. Somebody going through something, the last thing you need to be telling them is it could be worse, because you're trying to tell them, you're trying to invalidate how they feel. Well, it ain't worse, but I still feel bad. When you force yourself to be positive at all times, you're barring and repressing your emotions, which can lead to doubt, shame, and relational problems, as far as problems with your relationships in your life, relational problems with others. Sometimes, like, life just sucks. And it's the truth of it, man. Sometimes life sucks, man. There's going to be some days, man, ain't nothing going to go right. But guess what? You got tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to take that in tomorrow. You would be a fool to take yesterday into today. So you're just going to let a continuation part 2 to be continued before you go to bed. And then you wake up, oh, what was that I was thinking? Oh, yeah, that's what I was sad about. Let me start it. Sometimes life just sucks, and no amount of positivity can fix it. It's all right to be angry. It's okay to be jealous. It's okay to be annoyed or deeply upset about things. The good and bad emotions are all part of a human being. That's what makes you a whole person. You ain't never going to separate those negative emotions as long as you're breathing on this earth. They're going to be a part of you. But the thing is, you control them and you don't let them control you. 5 common unhealthy coping mechanisms. Number 2, isolating yourself from people, because that's going to hurt people. Socially isolating yourself simply because you don't like the people who are around you is not a healthy habit. This can make it harder for you to relate to others overall when you do something like this. As humans, we are social creatures who crave and need proper connection with others. You need proper connection with other human beings in order to be a whole human being. Learn a lot from the people around you. When you connect with others in a healthy manner, through supportive conversations and good healthy talks, you're allowing yourself to grow emotionally and mentally. Fostering your mental resilience can be helpful when times of stress do arise. If you're feeling overly anxious in social situations, reach out to a professional therapist who can teach you techniques to reduce the stress you feel caused by social situations. 5 common unhealthy coping mechanisms. Number 3, fatalism. Every time something go bad, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. When something bad happens, our brains immediately embellish the event that makes it seem like it's the worst possible thing that ever happened to you. It's a mental trait that has kept humans alive for millions of years, so the same mistakes won't be repeated in need of survival. However, in our modern day society, it functions as a self-defense mechanism where you prepare for the worst just in case. But this behavior might be causing you more stress than necessary. High levels of stress can lead to severe mental and physical health problems like depression and even heart disease. When you find yourself worrying about an outcome, ask yourself, how likely will the worst thing happen? That's leveling with yourself. You got to be like, okay, so if I don't do what I need to do, what's the worst thing that can happen in this situation that I'm worried about? Can you get evicted? Can you go to jail? Can you lose dignity? Could you lose respect? Could you lose friends? Those are the kind of things you want to think about. Once you come up with the worst possible thing that can happen in this situation, now you have an opportunity to make sure that the worst damn thing don't happen. Because it hasn't happened yet, right? It's called being proactive and not being reactive. If you feel like a bad outcome is truly likely, then plan for that one outcome. Create a plan that is flexible and doable in case it needs to change. This will give you a better sense of security going forward and create less stress in your life. 5 common unhealthy coping mechanisms. Number 4, repressing your feelings. Many repress their feelings because they think no one actually cares or because they believe expressing their feelings is a waste of time. Often, this behavior is a type of self-defense mechanism that activates when we believe that we no longer have control over a certain situation. Whether you choose to overreact or underreact, you are not giving your emotions a chance to be aired out. While there should be a degree of emotional self-control in place, we should remember to be genuine with how we're feeling and express it calmly and reasonably in a way that doesn't harm others. If you are more likely to overreact when something goes wrong, notice any physiological changes. Usually your body is a good indicator of how you're actually feeling. Taking a moment to meditate and ground yourself in your body can help you to minimize stress and reduce emotional outbursts. There's other ways to shake out repressed emotions, such as yelling into a pillow. I guess that's something women can do. Or a guy can do. If you want to yell, just yell in the pillow. They say that relieves stress. But I got a punching bag outside.
That's better.
At my crib, yeah. Yeah, and I got my gloves and everything, man. You know,
man,
get you a workout in, and you get to hit some stuff. As yelling in the pillow, hitting a punching bag, dancing, or working out. These are all things that you can do to help relieve a lot of tension and stress. 5 common unhealthy coping mechanisms, and the final one: romanticizing your past. And start romanticizing your past. The past can hold a certain appeal when we put our nostalgic goggles on, especially when the present looks dim and not as promising. Unfortunately, we can't resurrect the past. Things happen, and chances are they did not happen exactly as you imagined they would. Living in a nostalgic daydream of what could have been can rob you of opportunities that you need to be taking advantage of in your right now. If you find yourself taking frequent trips down memory lane, figure out what specifically appeals to you about those memories and try to recreate those memories in your present. The present can sometimes be dim and gray, but your perspective depends on how you choose to handle it. 5 common unhealthy coping mechanisms. We said number 1 was forced positivity. Number 2, isolating yourself. We said number 3 is fatalism. Number 4 is repressing your feelings. And then the final one, number 5, romanticizing your past.